I'm MTV Mac and I ride with old men on bikes.
Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. We're celebrating my year 2 anniversary of getting back into mountain biking. It's the journey being chronicled on this YouTube channel, and in celebration, I traveled up to Cumberland and rented a 2024 Forbidden Druid. Let's take a peek. This is the second iteration of the bike, V2 so to speak. It's perched victoriously here at the top of the climbing trail, Sobo no Michi. It's the mid-level spec in the colorway Dr. Green Thumb, which is beautiful, a 2024 colorway. And I'm stoked to share my first impressions with y'all today. First of all, why this bike? Well, I was really interested to try this bike for a couple different reasons. One of them just being the general funk of the bike industry these days. I won't go into all the details, but I'll drop the video by Mahalo, my dude, in the description. Gives the situation in sort of a fun context, so check that out if you're interested. And so with all that going on, some of the big brands struggling, some of the historic brands changing ownership, changing hands, super cool to see a local Vancouver Island bike brand getting some real recognition, international recognition on that. So that was one reason. The other reason was super interested to try out this Hive Pivot design. It's a bit of a controversial design choice, and I wanted to try it out for myself. I think we get a lot of perspectives online. It can be typically from a more experienced rider, a more skilled rider. So it's interesting to give it a try myself and see how much of that is applicable in my context. And yeah, my thoughts on the bike. Happy to share that with you today. So first up, climbing. Let's talk about Sobo no Michi on a high pivot trail bike, climbing up. The high pivot design is controversial, I think in part because it's new, so it's seen by many as gimmicky, or at least it's new in the context of a trail bike. It's a technology more from the downhill side of things. So I think it gets a lot of flack for being noisy or hard to pedal, stuff like that. How was it for me? It was fantastic for me. I had a great time pedaling this thing up Sobo no Michi. I did it in record time. I had one dab, 0 brakes, got to the top of the climb with lots of energy for the important stuff coming down. So that's 4.5 kilometers, 490 meters of elevation gain. That's a really solid performance on the bike. Found it super stable in these corners, easy to get around the switchbacks, tons of traction. So yeah, 0 complaints on how this bike climbs. I'll shut up and let the video play a bit. You can listen for noise. In the background, it was pretty quiet from my perspective. I'm in the granny gear, which is chilling and climbing, saving lots of energy for the top, not in a race or anything. So if you ride in a similar fashion, you might find that a lot of the typical complaints about this type of bike design don't apply to you. Now that said, it's not a cross-country race bike. We're not trying to win any speed records going up or anything like that. We're just spinning away, conserving our energy for when we get up to the fun parts. That's our typical style. And so I was really stoked about how well the Forbidden Druid climbed. It's a beautiful Cumberland climbing trail. If you haven't done it and you're in the area, even if you're on the mainland, you should definitely come over and check it out. All right, let's talk descent. That's where this type of bike gets fun and wins its accolades. This is a trail called Hunky Dory, and you can see this bridge here. It's pretty chunky, and the Druid is just a breeze on this type of chunk. You still feel it. My heart rate, because it's bridge work of any kind, is still up, but you don't get to the far side of the chunk, whether it's a bridge like that or a rock garden or a bunch of roots, and feel rattled. The bike definitely takes out a lot of the shock of that while still making the experience fun and enjoyable. So if you're regularly traversing those types of things, trying to keep up with friends that are more competent and faster than you, it's a really great bike for that type of experience. It definitely helps you stay cool under pressure and not get rattled. So let's talk about the full descent of Vanilla. Drop there. Here we go, dropping into Vanilla, back at the exit of Sobonomichi. Beautiful snow-crested mountains in the back, and the Druid is quite at home here. It's a bike engineered in the valley. Yeah, zero complaints, as you might expect with how this descends. I think there's a lot of talk out there about whether the bike remains its playfulness, or whether it's, you know, too cushy, like those kind of conversations. Is it poppy enough? Again, for a rider like me, just getting back into the sport, I found it tons of playfulness in the ride while still being really confident, inspiring. I didn't feel like there was a trade-off between the bike's performance and confidence inspiring, and it being a fun bike to ride. So yeah, I love this bike. I think this bike is fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody who's just getting into the sport and is looking for truly that sort of quiver killer bike that can do anything. You can ride it up the mountain, you can ride it down the mountain, and whatever scenario you find yourself in, it's going to be more than capable of helping you out of those difficult spots and making you feel confident on the bike. So 5 stars. I think Forbidden's done an awesome job. I'm in the camp that thinks the high pivot trail bike is an amazing piece of equipment, this one in particular. So that's my 2 cents as a beginning intermediate type rider. If you're watching this video shortly after it drops, next month or so, there is a ongoing fundraiser for Magnus Manson. It's one of their Forbidden's pro riders. He's a Canadian champion in downhill, and he's fighting cancer. So there is a fundraiser going on to help support the treatments. I'll drop a link in the description, and you should check it out for an opportunity to win a one-of-a-kind Druid. It's absolutely a fantastic bike, and yeah, capable and fun. It's not a trade-off. So that's my 2 cents. If you're a new rider just getting into the sport, subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot more content coming, including my first trip to Whistler very shortly. So stoked to share that with everybody, and yeah, hopefully I don't die. Thanks everybody. See you in the next one.